Well, hello everyone, and I kind of wanted to talk about this guy that I just got the other day. This is a Sitivien knife. This is the ST237, and I think if you buy it from AliExpress, Jufule or Joful, however you pronounce that, ends up doing the distribution for it. But I got this one from Amazon, and hey, that was much quicker. And basically just kind of a generic black box instead, which I'm perfectly fine with. It also comes with a little leather pouch for it. Not quite sure exactly why, because it has a pocket clip on there, but hey, there you go. So, yes, this guy is obviously a folder, as you can see. It does have titanium bolster elements and marbled carbon fiber, as we can see here. And this stuff is quite well done. We'll see the inside of it too. And as I've recently realized, I knew the pocket clip was titanium already, but the hardware screws for the pivot and those guys holding on there, they're exactly the same color, and that's because they are also titanium. Or at the absolute very least, they are non-ferrous steel of some sort. But because they have the exact same color to it, makes me think that it's just much easier for them to basically do all the anodization of titanium parts in the same exact voltage to get the that same sort of color going on there. So I don't really have any reason to think that it's not titanium. However, this is Kerchunk. Here we go. It is a steel liner lock here. It's not a titanium subframe lock or something like that, and that's probably where a lot of the cost savings end up coming into play on this guy here. This thing, it's got that those extra layers on top. This steel here is RWL 34. I've covered this, I think, in the unboxing video for this thing. We're RWL 34. Long story short, it was named after Bob Loveless. If you're not sure exactly who that is, well, the fact that we're talking about folding pocket knives, that guy certainly had a lot to do with it. So it's kind of a tribute to him, but it was basically named for, it's a Swedish company, Damasteel, who made the steel, even though this isn't Damascus. It's a powder metallurgy version of ATS 34, which CPM 154 is kind of the American equivalent to it. So RWL 34, very, very similar, metallurgically speaking, to CPM 154. If you're familiar with that, Kershaw's used it in a couple of things. I think SOG maybe recently. Benchman's used it just a little bit here and there. It's kind of a middle of the road kind of a but powder metallurgy steel there, and they seem to have done a decent job with I wouldn't necessarily say the heat treat. I can't quite say that for absolute certain, but they did definitely get the hardness in a very, very good state. This has basically taken the same amount of effort that I've done to sharpen CPM 154 and 154 CM steels from a variety of different companies. Maybe even just a little bit more difficult there. And that's okay. That makes me think, at least, that the hardness is kind of up there. I haven't done a cut test on this, but I do certainly plan to do that, because this blade does seem to be, at least sharpening-wise, performing quite well. I just kind of hope that the microcrystalline structure inside is all sorts of good along with that. So it looks like that. I honestly don't know if this is steel, layers on the outside, or if they've laser etched that or whatnot. It looks a lot like the layered steel that like Sitivien ends up doing with their 9CR18 MOV kind of stuff there. So I do think it's probably layers. It's probably, I think the standard is 33 or 34 layers for a lot of those things there. But for the most part, it's just there as kind of an extra look sort of thing. And it really does kind of match with the noise level, I guess you could say, from the marble carbon fiber there. But still, really tasteful. The blade seems to be quite nice. And yeah, after I've done a little bit of my own little tune-up here, this thing, yeah, quite drop shitty. So this thing has quite a nice action to it. The detent on it is maybe a little soft for me. Where, you know, if you try to fail or whatever, you know, you can certainly do that. You do have to have a little bit more conscious effort going on that. I could probably put a little bit more tension on the lock bar there to give me a little bit stiffer detent. But yes, we also have this hole here that is mostly closed, but we do have a little bit of notch here, and it is enough for me to actually get purchase on to do a little bit of a spidey flick. I can't do any kind of thumb roll out though. But yeah, you can also grab enough of it there to be able to break the detent and swing them open if you want. So yes, this one comes with blue appointments. They also have a gray version as well. And yeah, once I picked this guy up, I was really impressed with him. So I wanted to do kind of a little review on it. The only other Sitivien knife that I've had and I've reviewed on the channel is this guy right here. This is the ST110. I think my dumbass accidentally referred to it as the ST100 in my review. Hopefully I've gone back and fixed that, especially because I think one or two people have called me out on that. And I'm like, oh, crap. Oh, well. Yeah, this is a crossbar lock sort of thing. Sitivien, I don't remember his nationality, but he is a knife designer. And, you know, he does have quite a bit of his stuff distributed by Jufele, or Jofel, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video. And that always kind of worries me a little bit because that company is absolutely not afraid of blatant plagiarism of different designs, especially the Benchmade bug out and PM2 and, you know, all those other super common and well-known knives these days. But everything that I've seen from Sitivien, at least that has his name on it as a brand, are original designs. This one is much cheaper. This one I think is probably like 27 bucks on Amazon, which is where I picked it up. And yes, this one, I think I saw it on AliExpress for probably about 75 or something like that. But I ended up finding it on Amazon here locally, and also had some percentage things off or whatever. So I ended up getting this for about 63 bucks. And for that, I think this does a fantastic job of doing a lot of things quite well. The fit and finish isn't, you know, absolutely the most amazing thing on it. You can feel the transition between the titanium bolster and the carbon fiber there, and the screws do stick up a little bit there. So yeah, it's not, you know, absolutely mind-blowing as far as any of that stuff goes. But, I mean, overall, there's no voids in the carbon fiber whatsoever there. And the anodization on the titanium and all the other hardware there, and it using titanium for the clip and the rest of the hardware, fantastic. The blade seems to be doing quite well. And yeah, RWL34 is not cheap. It's not, you know, the most amazing steel. It's not going to beat M390, but it is made by Damasteel, and as such, you know, that Swedish company is a little expensive. So this steel actually does cost more, you know, in bare weight than M390 does. And I guess they say something like the blade length isn't, you know, super enormous, so that's why they can do a decent price for it. Let's see, what kind of blade lengths are we looking at here? Yeah, it's just a little under 3 1/4 inches there. So yeah, when I'm grabbing this in a full kind of gorilla hammer grip there. I can get a full 4-finger grip going on there. If I do want to relax up a little bit, then, it does end up being a little bit more of a 3-finger affair for me, but still very comfortable. I do kind of wish that these steel liners weren't proud. I don't necessarily like shadowboxed liners, but these things don't seem to bother me nearly as much as it does on a whole bunch of other knives. So that's pretty good. Yeah, the blade geometry on it is pretty good. It's, not Sitivien laser-like thin behind the edge, but still very, very good and standard for a nice, well-rounded EDC kind of blade. Let's see. And after doing, I did a quote-unquote reprofile on this to 17 degrees, which is generally what I end up doing for 154 cm and stuff like that. It took a little bit of effort there, but this thing gets a very, very nice polished fine edge on there. So yeah, definitely a very, very fine grain structure, but that's typically noted by most powder metallurgy steels anyway. But yeah, the ergos for this thing are pretty good. Maybe just a little bit on the smaller size for us with those XL hands. But like I said, I still find this thing quite comfortable to grab and use. And of course, all the different ways. We got the saber grip there, and the hammer grip, and of course my favorite, the pinch grip. I don't know, reverse grip. Sure, why not? Yeah, that's comfortable enough for me to wrap my thumb around if I really want to poke into something there. And of course, a reverse grip, super nice if I want to cut something towards myself, if I have something looped around there, like some rope. And yeah, so we have a little bit of lock bar access, as you can see here. It's not just completely disappeared. And we do have scallops on both sides there. Maybe not the absolute easiest thing to go ahead and close. I did have a little bit of problems trying to do that while wearing leather gloves, which I do play around with from time to time, especially when I'm doing cut tests. But yeah, I mean, overall, for the quality and everything like that, this thing actually impressed the heck out of me. Like I said before, the other one that I'd looked at, this one was about 27 bucks. And yeah, this one's more, I do think I covered that, so sorry about that. But yeah, it's about 63 to 65 bucks or something like that. Let's go ahead and do some size comparisons. Why not? See, there's K-Bar Dozier Folding Hunter. We got the Spyderco PM2. About the same amount of blade length and sharpened blade length, but a bit shorter in the handle there. There it was. I was looking for that all over the place, and it was apparently sitting on my desk. So, okay, I'll do a couple of Benchmades here. That's the bug out. And this is the Benchmade 940. I'm actually going to be saying goodbye to this for a little bit. I'm actually sending it back to Benchmade. And I can buy a new blade for this damn thing that they'll put on there. It's 85 bucks, which, I mean, these days, maybe just a little bit expensive for an S30V blade, but hey, it'll look a lot better than what I've done to this over the last 19 years. Yeah, I don't expect them to fully replace it, but yeah, so that should be fun. But, okay. And yeah, why not? We'll go with the Boker Kalashnikov 74. So there we go. Fairly similar size to this guy. So I do want to go ahead and do a little bit of disassembly and kind of show you guys what's going on the inside here. It is maybe just a tiny bit more challenging to put this thing back together than some other knives. There's nothing super crazy or technical about it, but it is what it is, so let's go ahead and do that here. Most of the construction on this is T6, unfortunately not T8. The pivot is T8 on it, though. There we go. We got Yep, both the pocket clip and the screw there. I got this super crazy powerful magnet that, yeah, it'll grab onto anything steel. So that's what makes me think that it's titanium, that and it's fairly light. But, okay, so I pulled off the pocket clip there, and I also need to pull off this other piece here to remove the marbled carbon fiber scale here. As we can see, I'm getting super close and everything. No voids whatsoever. And yeah, there might be a void or two on the backside, but I don't care because it's not designed to be seen. And I mean, even if they are, I can't feel them. So it just might be a little bit more of a light sort of thing there. I don't know. But we do have another T6 screw hidden under here. So it does have a construction quite a bit like, let's see. Yeah, here we are. The QSP Gannett. Very, very similar in the construction, whereas this underneath the micarta, you have that additional screw. So we got that guy off. Now I can take a T8 screwdriver here to the pivot here. I don't know if this ring here is also titanium. Well, it's not magnetic. Interesting. Maybe I can try and anodize that a different color at some point here. But yeah, as we can see, we do have just the titanium bolster piece or whatever. And yep, nothing too super crazy going on there. Let's see, from here, I'll go ahead and just shove this guy out through the other side here. Yeah. So the pivot piece of steel here, the pivot is steel on this guy here. However, the actual pivot screw is titanium, and I can definitely tell that when I'm trying to thread it back in, when I put it back together. You can feel it where if you don't get those threads exactly right, feels like you could cross-thread it just a little bit easier than you could with steel. But, all right, this guy is always kind of a pain in the butt to wiggle off. It's got a whole bunch of posts here on the back. There we go. There's one for the lanyard thing there. And then, of course, we got the back spacer going on here. And the thing that does make me just a little bit sad, I guess, it's not really a big deal, though, is both sides here, we do have washers inset in there. So, yeah. And I think that probably has to do with maybe they had a different version of this, or they used this liner for something else. That's maybe why we have, you know, holes like here and here that aren't used on this particular design or something like that. But yes, you definitely need those in there. Otherwise, it makes all sorts of bad action happen. So definitely want to remember that. And we do have ceramic bearings right here on the pivot. And these are ceramic bearings, but they're in black plastic of some sort. My guess usually with black plastic like this is Delrin, which that would make sense, but I honestly don't know exactly what those are technically made out of. But I've seen them in some other knives here in the past. No problems at all with those. But yeah, I do wish that there was a D-shaped pivot there, but we do not have that on this guy in particular. I haven't had any problems with it, and as you can see on the screw here, we don't have any Loctite or anything that's been applied to them. Yeah, so you can see this little line here. That's actually me putting this back together, and I lost one of these things, or, well, when I opened it up, I thought I only saw one of them come out. And yeah, the blade rubbed up against that there. I can't see absolutely anywhere, even to the layers of it or whatever is on the inside there where it rubbed on there. So yeah, it's definitely nice and hard. So that's definitely good. But yeah, we can go ahead and toss that guy there. All right, and then I've learned that if I push from the top, that will help me get the stop pin as well as that in place, and then I can force the rest of it closed here. Well, not using any kind of excessive force, but you know, enough to get the job done of getting those pins back where they need to be. And at that point, I can take this guy and yep, there we go. I have to be fairly careful, otherwise I will feel the blade, or not the blade, the pivot screw kind of start to cross thread. So yeah, you definitely want to be a little careful with that in general. I think that's mostly fine. It'll be fine once I actually apply the screw to it there. Oh, that's the one with the pocket clip, so I won't do that yet. That's the screw that I need to put it back on the inside. All right, yeah, apparently scatterbrained. It's about 1 in the morning though, and I have been working this week, so. Alrighty, so I can pop that guy back in there, a little T6 action. And of course, that guy there. So yeah, I'm a little two minds in general on titanium hardware. As you can see on some of that, if they don't do a good job with the titanium, they can end up wearing out if you take apart and put the knife back together a whole bunch, because the threads aren't going to be quite as strong as they would if they were hardened steel. But on the other hand, they do look nice, and it is a premium material there. Let's see. Did I get... the pivot's just a little bit loose on there. There we go. Yeah. The lining up, it seems pretty good to me. Maybe favoring the non-lock bar side just a touch, but that could also be just me kind of putting them back together a little haphazardly like I did on the video here. But yeah, this thing is super, super neat. Feels really great for the price too. So yeah, this one really impressed me. And this one came about because I had seen kind of a newer design using some of these same specs with the RWL 34 steel, titanium bolster, and carbon fiber called the TS243, whereas this is a 237, right? Yes. That is a little bit of an elongated kind of recurve Tonto, but since it's elongated and stuff, it does seem just like a little bit more of a recurve kind of droppy point sort of thing. But that one had colored carbon fiber. I don't know if it's from fat carbon or if they're doing it themselves or whatever, but they have it in green, which was the one that I went with, but they also have it in red, and then they do a pink-ish kind of anodization going on those because, well, you can't really anodize titanium to be red, and that's just not in that color spectrum. And of course, they also had blue like this. And that was the one that I had originally seen. So yeah, I ended up picking up this one and that one to get kind of 10 or 15% off because, well, that's what they had going on in the store. And this one came, and the other one's, I think it's still in production, so it's going to take a little bit longer to actually get here. But they do have 2 more that are in this thing. I think it's the ST244 and 245, which also look pretty interesting. So I'm thinking about probably trying to pick up the rest of them because these things really do impress me. And like I said, I don't necessarily like the additional washers in there for the action, but that action, when it's all said and done and put together, fantastic. One other thing I did want to mention on this here, now that it's back together, and I've probably lost a whole bunch of people because this video's gone on for way too long, is kind of this little dip here. So yeah, it's really, really comfortable if you want to get up there, kind of like some of the harpoon style blades do. If you really want to do some utility cuts, that's a very comfortable fit for me. But yeah, I do have larger hands, so you might have a little bit of trouble reaching all the way to the end of that little groove there, but you can definitely get onto it regardless of your finger length there. But yeah, so yeah, I suppose I can go ahead and do some of the rest of the measurements here. So the weight on this guy, start with ounces, 3.745 ounces, or just a hair over 106 grams. So yeah, it's not a featherweight, and partially, that's due to it having those liners. We did see that they are full skeletonized there, so that's great to see. But yeah, not super light, but that also has to do with kind of the blade stock thickness on this guy here. Which where are my calipers? I did bring them over. Here we are. So for the blade stock thickness on this guy, yeah, it's basically 3.25. I think that, yeah, that's basically right where I'm getting. So 3.25 millimeters there. Suppose if you want it in thousandths, it's just shy of 13 thousandths. And let's see the thickness here. 0.55 essentially there. Or basically 13.9 millimeters. So yeah, this thing is pretty darn good. Fairly average as far as all those stats are concerned. The blade isn't really out there as far as being super long. As I said, it's a little under 3.25 inches there. It is over 3, so if that's something you're looking for, you might want to pass this one up. But there you go. All right. Well, I think I've basically said everything that I wanted to say about this guy. Yeah, I covered it in the beginning. It does come with this little leather pouch thing here. I guess a lot of theirs in this series do have that. I guess some people do like to, do that and then carry this in their pocket with them so that their knife does stay separate. Mostly, I don't understand necessarily wanting to try to use something like that when it already does come with a pocket clip. But yeah, that being said, I do also have one of these little MKM clips. These guys are made in Italy, and they have basically the same kind of idea there, but they will act as a pocket clip there with some neodymium magnets in there, but obviously much smaller. This is designed for slip joints and things like that. So yeah, this guy's just going to be too thick for it. But yeah, I like this thing. It's interesting to me. I guess mentioning it here at the end because I completely forgot earlier in the video. We got the plunge grind ends right about there, and we have quite a bit of room there to do some sharpening, and that's of course after I've done a little bit of sharpening myself to reprofile that to 17 degrees. It was basically right at there. It might have been like 18.5 or something like that. So I didn't really drastically change it from what it was. But yeah, I'm quite impressed with how the steel feels, the edge that it's been able to take and everything. So hey, for the price, I like these things quite a bit. Yeah, I can't really think of anything else to say. So, geez, it's almost a half hour. I'm going to shut the hell up now. All right, as always, I appreciate y'all for watching. Have yourself a wonderful rest of your day.